This is grown man business. The kind of swag don't hit a witness. I pull up in a Bentley so quick. I'm dropping them bags, popping them tags. You know how we bless that cash. The grown man biz. The grown man. I said the grown man. I said the grown man. This is how a grown man does business.
The flow is tight, show you right. I'm the one you can say.
L coming at you live and in living color, right here from the Mail Review on YaleRadiocast.com. Hey, it's Saturday. Y'all know what we do. We do this thing, and we do it well. We do it every Saturday to let you guys know that we are here for you, to give you the conversation from a male perspective. I am in the building with the League of an Extraordinary Gentleman. One of the most extraordinary gentlemen is myself, of course, Mark L., and my heralded co-host, Mr. Everything, Dylan. He is definitely 5 of the greatest co-hosts that I know. Dylan Yale in the building, the namesake of the company. How are you this morning, sir?
Bro, man, I'm going to tell you, man, with certain people in the room,
yes,
I cannot behold the title of Mr. Everything.
You cannot.
Sometimes I just got to be Mr. Doing,
Mr. Doing this right now.
Doing some stuff. I'm doing some stuff.
Handling your business
Every now and then, somebody come in the room that just supersedes me in the doing everything.
Hey, you know, doing some of the things.
I'm doing some stuff.
I'm doing most things.
I'm doing
not everything.
Not everything.
Okay, right.
It feels like everything, though. It do feel like everything. That just lets you know how much weight you can hold on. If you can, people just want to get up, do a 9 to 5, and they complain about they doing too much.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But
sometimes
don't get me started. They be doing too much. I'm just saying. Sometimes they do be doing. Yeah, you be doing a little too much. Talk to my boss. Anyway, but welcome y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with us again on this fine Saturday. We in the middle of fall and
are we finally?
Listen.
Finally fall.
I'm still trying to figure out why I'm watching the sun go away at 4 o'clock and why I'm ready to go to bed at 6 o'clock sharp.
Ain't it, man?
It's like, oh man, it's dark out. I need to be trying to go to bed. I'm trying to go to sleep right now. Good morning, Phoenix on the stream. Thank y'all for tuning in again as always. We here. We doing our business. Man.
You was once again. You was out of office with us.
Yeah, brother. I was out of office last week. Yeah, and
was this one a vacation?
And who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me, boo? No, this was not necessarily a vacation. Okay. I was just out. I needed to handle some business. Sometimes men get important.
Yeah,
and men have to handle some things.
We got to put ourselves first sometimes.
Sometimes we got to do
every now and then.
No, it's always in the under the guise of doing for us first, but always doing for someone else. You know that. It's always for somebody else.
Yeah.
It never is necessarily for us. Because we take time for us, they ask us, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
So,
what do you mean doing something for yourself, sir?
Look at man. Every now and then.
Uh-oh. We also have a guest in the studio. If y'all have not heard, okay, sorry. That's not a male. That's not a male. We do have someone in the building. From time to time, we do bring outstanding people in, outstanding guests in to kick it and hang out with the Mail Review and keep our heads screwed on tight.
Yeah.
Darling, would you like to do the introduction?
Man, look here. That's kind of like circling back to what I was saying about sometimes some people just step into the room, you know what I'm saying, and demand respect.
Absolutely.
Look here, I ain't gonna say, ma'am, not too many women get me shook in their presence, okay? I didn't know to hug her or shake her hand or bow when she walked in the room, okay? I led up the steps and greatness was coming up on the steps as at clunk, 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 clunk. Them steps is heavy, bro.
Steps are heavy, bro.
I'm telling you, man. I just want to welcome the outstanding guest of today. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Pamela Winn is joining us this afternoon on the Mail Review. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us, Dr.
Great.
Winn.
And I thank y'all for inviting me.
Absolutely. Welcome.
In the male space.
Hey.
To a male space. How do you feel about being in a male space? Because how sometimes the conversations do get spicy. Okay.
They can get spicy. I'm here to check them and make sure y'all keep it right.
We're going to keep it right. We're going to keep it right. We're going to try to make sure that we hold to your standard there, Dr. Winn.
Okay.
Definitely.
So little brief insight of this outstanding woman right here. 50 over 50 most impactful women.
Listen,
Forbes list.
Listen, Forbes list.
Okay. The Restore Her US Foundation, right? Okay. Lifetime Achievement, the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award.
Fantastic.
Now, this is where people are going to say, huh? Because they're going to need a little bit of insight. The Face of Dignity for Incarcerated Women.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and let everybody know where we are with that part and circle back on everything that encompasses the great woman that you are right now, ma'am.
So I became the face for incarcerated women because I myself served a 78-month federal sentence in which I was pregnant and I was shackled, which caused me to fall.
Okay.
And when I fell, it resulted in a miscarriage of my child. And then right after, I was placed in solitary confinement. So coming home and being told that there was nothing I could do about what had happened to me, I'm not that woman. I don't accept that.
Okay.
And that's what brought me to the work that I do now. I created my organization, Restore Her US America, which is a policy advocacy organization that advocates for directly impacted women. We address the social determinants of criminalization as well as the social inequities within the legal system of women.
Excellent.
And through that, we have been able to, here in Georgia, where my incident occurred at a private prison that contracts with the feds, we have been able to pass laws that now ban shackling and solitary confinement of incarcerated pregnant women. And we've been blessed to pass that bill in 22 states, including the entire South, with Alabama being the most recent last year to pass their bill.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's how I got there.
I think we missing a little bit.
Sure.
We talked about incarcerated women.
Yes.
Ma'am, how did well, I can tell you how I got incarcerated, but that'll be a laundry list of things that happened on a couple occasions. I am not the man now that I was then.
Right.
But so how did we become incarcerated?
So let's start with, like you said, I'm from Atlanta. I'm everything Atlanta.
Okay.
Grady baby from the West Side, Zone 3, all of the things Atlanta.
Okay.
I am that. And being from Atlanta, being from the South, I am from what is a typical Southern family, which means that my family was uneducated and low income.
Okay.
I am a first generation high school graduate.
Okay.
High school,
wow.
not college.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of what I come from. I was born in John Hope Homes. I grew up on the South Side, College Park.
Okay.
That's where I live now.
That's where we at. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with the aspiration to change my generational dynamics.
Okay.
And I pretty much accomplished that. I had checked off the box. High school graduate, college graduate. I'm a Spelman alumni.
Okay, Spelman.
I attended
AUC, love.
Yes.
I'm with the Clark Atlanta, so
Okay.
right on.
Emory, Georgia State University. I have several degrees in nursing. I was a surgical nurse. I specialized in women's health. I started my own business, first entrepreneur in my family. And that's where I caught the charge from.
Okay.
So being a first-time entrepreneur, not having anyone from my environment to teach me anything about business, and basically growing up my entire life, I was pretty much self-taught. And because of that, I made some poor business decisions that cost me to get a 78-month federal sentence for a white-collar crime related to my business.
Gotcha.
So that's how I ended up.
Was this crime a accidental crime, or you did that? You did. We don't want to go into details of the.
We can go into details.
Let's go into details then.
Okay.
I'm gonna allow you to get the platform.
Sure.
I guess I did say I want you to open up to who you truly are, right?
Yeah.
I can't ask you, you know what I'm saying, keep things covered up.
Right.
So what's up?
And I don't believe in that no way.
All right.
I am who I am.
All right.
Okay.
So I had two businesses actually. One was a perinatal service, which means that I work with women that were pregnant because my specialty was women's health. And with the perinatal service, what we did was we identified, so rewind, Georgia has always been one of the top for the highest maternal infant mortality rates in the United States.
Wow.
We've always held
Why is
that
that?
title. A number of things.
Number two.
So
Which is-
at that time, I started the business because one of those things were women are busy focusing on their socioeconomic deficits, and they don't have time, which takes away the time for
Yes.
being concerned about their medical health. So if I don't know where I'm sleeping or what I'm eating every day, then going to a doctor for a monthly visit is like at the
At the
bottom,
bottom
of
of the
my
list.
That's
Right.
a that's a people problem.
I think they
Right.
personally put us in that situation, but we're gonna circle
Yeah,
back.
oh,
We're
yeah,
we gonna
absolutely.
circle back to how
But
all
yeah,
this encompasses
this is
this
true.
moment. Yes.
So what my business did was we provided wraparound services for those socioeconomic needs so those women could concentrate on their medical care.
Okay.
And in doing that, because I am from that environment, from where these women come from,
Mhm.
I knew these women. I knew the doctors that work with these women. My first job was at Southside Healthcare Clinic, which is in the proximity of where these people are from, these
Right.
women are from. So in that, of course, I had a client base when I decided I wanted to do this. The health department also thought it was a good idea and decided to do it as well. The problem was the health department falls under the state. I am considered a private provider. My money comes to me.
Ooh.
And so when I would get my billing statements and I would see where we weren't paid for a particular client, I would call in, explain that this was my referral. I have documentation to show that this is my client. And they would tell me that they don't have time to determine who belongs to who. They pay whoever bills first.
Right.
So again, in my ignorance of not having a business before, I directed my staff that when we receive a referral, instead of waiting until we see that person, go ahead and bill when we get the referral.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Because we were losing money
Right.
to the health department for our work. And in that, what I didn't foresee is if a woman did not keep her appointment, we had already billed.
I got you. Okay.
And so it was our responsibility to make sure that we saw her.
Gotcha.
So when the health department services started closing down because we had all the patients, they complained about us having a monopoly on all the patients.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so that in turn sparked the state to come do an audit. And when they came, what they don't say is out of 2,500 patients, there were only 20 patients that were billed for that we did not see.
Wow.
Gotcha.
But the way that they sensationalize things is they hit me with 20 counts,
Got you.
which sounds
each.
like a whole lot, but they
Yes.
didn't say 20 counts.
20
of
counts out of
2,500.
wow.
Right.
Gotcha.
And some of the things that I got fined for or reprimanded for, in addition to not following up with those 20 patients, were at that time, I had computer billing before there was computer billing.
Okay.
I am a tech person by nature. And at that time, Microsoft had, so this is the late 90s, Microsoft had just come up with a new software called Access. It's a database software.
Access. I used to teach it.
Right. So me and my nerdy friend, I was like, I'm getting all these patients. I'm trying to keep up this stuff on paper. We sat down and created a database where I could pull them up by name, gestational weeks, due date, whatever. So when they came to audit me, my contract said I had to have a paper file on everybody. So I did have a paper file. When we closed them out, we printed out everything that we had.
Mm-hmm.
When they asked me about a particular person and I said, hold on, and I pulled them up in the computer and they saw that I had that, I got fined for that. But while I'm sitting there serving my 78-month sentence, I call home and one of my girlfriends tells me to have a seat because what she's about to tell me is gonna probably piss me off. And that was, they had changed the law that everybody had to now be computerized.
Yeah, I remember when they did that. Yep.
Yes.
So now, based on the way your system worked.
So it made me feel like people that are sitting in cages right now for marijuana, and we got marijuana legal everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like it seemed like it was accidental fraud.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't intentional.
It wasn't
No.
intentional.
It-
Yes.
it's
But
yeah.
but you still gotta
But it was still what
Yes.
it was,
Yeah.
you know. And
okay. So we're incarcerated at the moment and pregnant.
mhm.
And the relationship with you and the father of the child, how was that?
The father of the child. So we had been together 3 years prior to my incarceration. When they came and they took me, I had no clue that I was pregnant. I found out
Okay.
when I
While
was
you were
there.
locked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Let me ask. All right. So when we talk about this practice of shackling,
Yes.
can you, not to say that a lot of folks that's listening kind of understand what you mean, but can you give us
Sure.
a description of
Love to.
that?
Because I know a lot of people don't understand.
Correct.
What
Some people don't
is.
understand actually. We know about handcuffs.
Right.
It's gotten to the point where we use those for fun now.
Right.
But shackling is something different. Can you explain that?
Different.
Yeah. Can you?
So actually, I have a nice illustration of it here on my shirt.
Okay.
So what shackling is for folks that don't understand shackling. First of all, let me say that wrist cuffs are designed to tighten as you move.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. So shackling meant that I had a chain link double wrapped around my belly that connected to my wrist cuffs with what they call a black box. It's a small box, a little bigger than a cassette tape that clamps over the cuffs and clamps those chains that were around my belly to the handcuffs. And it puts you in a fixed position where your hands are directly in front of you and you don't have any movement. And then they add ankle cuffs to your ankles,
Yes.
which are connected between your legs with the chain, which makes it difficult for you to walk. And this particular day, like I said, with each step, each movement, those ankle cuffs got tighter on my ankles to the point where by the time I made it to the van, the cuffs were literally biting into my ankles. I could feel that the skin had broke. It was very painful, excruciating. And when I tried to step up because of the pain, I just misstepped because I just couldn't make that full step. And falling was like a tree falling because, again, my hands are fixed in front of me. So it wasn't like I could break that fall. So it was like a straight, hard hit to the ground because you can't brace yourself.
Now, did they know that you were pregnant at the
Yes.
time? They knew that you were pregnant because I'm trying to
Yes.
What my
So
thought
when they
process.
shackled me,
Go ahead.
when they shackled me, I said to the officer, "You do know that I'm pregnant." And his response to me was, "Our contract states that we have to shackle everybody when we transport. There are no exceptions."
That's insane because it's not like you were convicted of being an axe murderer or something
Right.
to that effect, or someone who overpowered 30 people in some sort of prison takedown of some sort. They were moving you to a court case or to
Back and forth to court.
Back and forth to court. So the practice of shackling you, that's extreme. Even for, like you said, it was a white collar crime. Not to say that
You're trying to
crimes
say
are supposed to be
certain
that way.
you would think just the mindset of the people that's the police at that moment would you would think they would react a little differently.
Correct.
Like, there's Dylan Roof.
Yeah. And then
there's Dr. Pam over here.
Right.
Well, let me add some more to that.
Okay.
Not only was I shackled then, when at the point where I was having a problem and I started experiencing my miscarriage.
Okay.
When the officers met me at the hospital doors and immediately shackled me to the bed. So I continued my miscarriage shackled by wrist and an ankle to the hospital bed.
Do you think there's some racial behind that?
Of course it is. We understand where shackling comes from.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So it derives from slavery. This is the same treatment that they treated our women back then. Nothing has basically changed. I mean, even when you even talk about incarceration.
Yes.
It's all the same concept. It's just called a different name for a different time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's justified under the 13th Amendment.
There you go.
That
there
part,
you go.
That's
now we're talking.
Absolutely.
So
Man.
you finally get free. And what do you do after that?
So the first thing I did was want to forget all of it and just let it be a nightmare and go on about my life.
I can understand.
However, I couldn't. My spirit was tugging at me. I would see different things that would prompt me to think about the child that I lost, or to think about the women that I left behind that were still going to be going through what I went through, or worse, because I want people to understand that my story is one story
Out
of
thousands.
thousands.
Yes.
And although my story may have been bad, it's not even the worst. So that was what was always playing in my mind. And for that reason, I just couldn't take the rest to just go on and go forth and not do anything. So I started talking to people, started talking to attorneys, organizations, and everybody was saying, the attorneys were saying we were beyond the statute of limitations.
Mm-mm.
We got an Amber Alert.
Somebody kid.
Yeah. We're saying that we were beyond the statute of limitations. So there was nothing I could do.
Beyond the statute of limitations
Yes.
of what had occurred.
Of what had occurred, because it was
Really?
beyond, yeah, they said 5 years was the statute of limitations. And since I had served more than 5 years,
Right.
it was too late for me to do anything.
Because it
legally.
happened in the first year.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
But you were still a ward of the state.
Right. They said I should have had someone on the outside start the process.
Wow.
And then when I was speaking to organizations, I was being told that they had been working on this legislation for over 10 years and never been able to get a committee hearing. So they had basically gave up. And matter of fact, at that time, it was Representative, she's now councilwoman, but at that time she was a state representative, Keisha Waits. That was the one that was trying to pass the bill at the time.
Okay.
And so basically they had given up. She had left state representation and went on to do other things. And so after that, people were just kind of died.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point, I started a petition with change.org.
Okay.
That petition got over 100,000 signatures in less than a month.
Nice.
It got the attention of Senator Cory Booker, who at the time had a federal legislation called the Dignity for Incarcerated Women's Act.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And he brought me to Capitol Hill. I met Jessica Jackson and Van Jones, and then the rest was history.
Okay.
Hey.
Yes.
So is that the birth of Restore Her? Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay. Great. Outstanding. Mark, you got some?
I mean, I'm floored by your ability to take that unfortunate incident that occurred to be able to turn it into something that was more restorative. That had to be a lot of work. I have to imagine, and especially when you wonder if people are taking you seriously about what you're trying to do after going through your situation. Because we talk about this all the time. Even with regards to voting, how people who have been arrested, they kind of look at them. They kind of have a look. Right. They get an idea in their heads that this person can't possibly be reformed. This person is a criminal, and doesn't even matter what happened or what occurred, but this person was arrested for whatever reason or was incarcerated, and for them to be able to take you serious, that's huge. That's a huge thing to do, and it's wonderful that you took the time to say, I don't want anyone to suffer through what I went through. I don't want anyone to suffer what I saw other people suffer through, and to actually put that together to move forward into making it so that you said how many states now? 22. And we're still fighting for the other ones to get them.
So right now there are approximately 40 states that have some type of limitations or laws.
Okay.
So understand that before I got in the movement of this work, there were other women that had passed initial bills. And those women worked with me. Okay. Those women took me for a weekend, educated me on how they passed legislation. So the first bills around shackling were passed in New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, California. Those were the initial bills that passed, and they passed like years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
Gotcha.
But the South had nothing been done down here.
Yeah, I can imagine, of course, right?
And that was important to me because I'm from the South. And my incident occurred here in my home state of Georgia, although I was in federal prison. But not to forget federal prison, I also had the opportunity to put my language in the federal bill, the First Step Act.
Okay.
That was signed by Trump.
Excellent.
And so it also bans this shackling and solitary confinement for women in federal prison.
Let me ask you, man.
Come on. Let's hear it.
Marcus.
Yes, sir.
He hates Donald Duck.
Okay.
You know,
Many people do.
You know, I mean, you know, I take him for whoever he is. He's who he is, right? You know what I'm saying? I think most politicians are who they are.
They are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I within the past year, I've heard a lot of. I've been in spaces with a lot of people of color saying that, hey, Donald Trump has did this for me. You're not the first woman that I've been in a space with that
Let
said.
me correct you.
You know, okay.
I didn't say for me.
Okay.
I said he signed the bill.
Okay. No, that's
okay.
I'm just saying
that you directly. He's saying someone
I'm
who directly benefited.
Yes.
From
what I'm saying is there was a benefit that people have claimed that they they benefited from. So. What's your opinion on the politicians and where has the support been from the politicians, right side and left side?
Okay, so I work with both, and for me, my work does not look at blue. My work does not look at red. My work looks at orange.
Got you.
Okay.
There you go.
And
I like that.
I say orange because that's the color that they like to put you in when they lock you up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I look at orange. I look at who is supportive of and for making sure that people that wear orange get what they need.
Right.
Politicians are that. They are about whatever their agenda is about.
Definitely.
I don't work with this one. I don't do that with that one because I work for the people that I advocate for. And again, that's the people in orange. Right. So if that means I got to talk to somebody with green, purple, or whatever, whoever they are,
right,
I'm going and I'm sitting down and I'm talking to them to get what I need done for the people that I advocate for
right.
orange.
Excellent.
And so I don't get caught up in, and I think that's part of our problem when we're trying to get things done. Who they are personally, excuse my mouth, but I give two fucks about it.
Hey, okay, now we're talking. I've been up here. You know, ma'am, I would love to ask you these questions. Now we getting down to it. Let's talk.
Because you never know who a person is.
Yes.
Correct.
When a person goes home and they close their door, you don't know what the hell they doing.
Right.
So I don't get caught up and waste my time in trying to assume who anybody is because I don't know.
Right.
And I don't care. That ain't my business.
Okay. You know, is what they can do for you.
Right.
And a lot of people are putting on masks anyways.
Of course. And especially in those positions.
Yes.
And so all I'm concerned about is the goal at hand. We have this goal in common. What do we need to make this happen?
Yes, ma'am.
That makes sense to me.
It's about the business.
Right.
That makes sense.
So we got this video up right here. Shout out to our guy, Travis Barber. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, like I said, man.
Yes, that's my partner, my right-hand man.
Hey, I saw that post, you know what I'm saying? Wonder Twins.
That's right. The dynamic duo.
The dynamic duo. So I like this. A whole billboard.
Yes.
I like that too. That was personal for me.
Yeah, so let's talk about that right there. When you're looking at that and everybody looks at that and they see you and you go from there and here you are. Talk about is that the reflection of that moment?
Okay, so the personal piece for this for me is when I say I was in solitary confinement, I was held in solitary confinement for 8 months.
8 months.
Solitary.
That's locked down. How many hours a day?
It's 23 or 24, depending on the discretion of the officer, because they don't have to let you out at all.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yes. And like right now with them being short staffed, a lot of people don't get that hour.
Right, because they don't have anybody to watch you.
Exactly.
That is
and in my hour, I was supposed to try and contact my family, take a shot, wash my clothes, do whatever I needed in that hour when I got it. Yeah. Wow. And try to have some clarity, some time outside the door to get my mind right. Again, if you got that hour.
Right.
So why this is personal to me is because I was in solitary confinement in that building behind that billboard.
Crazy.
Is that the cab? That's the cab.
That's the ACDC. That's the Atlanta City Detention Center.
Oh, okay. That White Street.
No, Garnett
Station. Yep. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
so that's why that's.
Is that where they had Matulu at?
No,
Matulu was somewhere else. They had Matulu Shakur locked up here in Atlanta for a minute.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he wasn't there.
Yeah, that wasn't there. But that's
why
crazy.
it's personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, as far as for the people, Why it's important for the people? Because you see what that says? Formerly incarcerated people. Use your power to vote.
Yes.
That means that there are formerly incarcerated people in Georgia that can vote.
Yeah. But they try to, excuse me, pardon me, they try to discourage them from voting, saying they put out all this propaganda around election time. It's a circus, the whole thing, the phone calls, the text messages, the robocalls, all of it, the paperwork you'll see that'll show up in your mailbox. But they will. I've seen them where they've said, "Oh yeah, if you get caught trying to vote, you'll be arrested."
So I'm gonna make it clear.
Let's talk about that
today while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with in 2021. My organization Restore Her partnered with, again, Jessica Jackson and Van Jones with the Reform Alliance.
Okay.
Most people know the Reform Alliance as the organization that Meek Mills, Jay-Z, Mark Rubin, Robert Kraft.
They all work with, yep.
Right. Gotcha. They fund it. So I partnered with them and we passed the bill in 2021, the Probation Reform Act, that will allow Georgians to get off probation.
Outstanding.
In 3 years. It doesn't matter if you have 50 years of probation. In 3 years, if you have not committed a new crime, if you have no revocations, and if you have restitution, which a lot of people may not, it's paid, you can terminate your probation.
Okay.
In 3 years.
That's beautiful.
So I want to repeat that for everybody listening. If you've been on probation 3 years, you don't have a new crime, no violations, and if you have restitution is paid, call your probation officer because you can get off probation.
Nice.
And if you have .us where we can help you with that.
Outstanding, man.
So in Georgia, when you complete your sentence, meaning that if you have probation, you're off probation, you are reenfranchised. You can now vote. You have your voting rights back.
That's fantastic.
So they let you know that you lose them, but nobody comes back and say, you're off probation, you can vote now. So now Dr. Barbara and I, that's our job. We're saying, if you're off paper, you have your voting rights back.
Okay. Man, shout out to y'all, man.
Yes,
once
shout
again,
out.
Man.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? You hear that? If you are off the paper.
In 21, when we passed this bill, we had 80,000 formerly incarcerated people in Georgia that were eligible to vote and not registered. Since we passed this bill, we now have over 450,000. I'm going to say that one more time. 450,000.
That's over half of them people.
That are eligible, that are formerly incarcerated, that can vote.
Excellent.
And that's our job, is to let them know that they can vote, get them registered, get them voting. Because right now, like that billboard say, we have a lot of power in Georgia.
Yes, you do.
If we register and use our rights to vote.
Yes, you do.
Let me ask this, and I see you work with Brother Travis Barber.
Yes.
How has this support for what you do been from the male community, the male population? And have you received? Because we do discuss the back and forth conflict of support from men to women and women to men. Is that a thing that you deal with, or that you look for?
I do deal with that.
Okay.
So prior to Dr. Barbara and I, so let's say this: we're both from the South Side.
Yeah.
We both grew up here. We're both natives, and all of that. And so when I was doing my work, I had people keep coming to me saying, "Do you know Dr. Travis Barber? Y'all are just alike. Y'all should be working together. Y'all should be working together." And so then, I saw him on social media, and I noticed a lot of the things that he was doing were very similar to what I was doing.
Right.
I reached out, he followed me on my social media, followed him back. I reached out to him. We got together. And when we got together that one day, it was like we already knew each other. And pretty much we did. We know all of the same people. We just had never directly connected.
Gotcha.
Right.
So bringing him in and he and I working together has been for lack of a better word, like truly impactful, truly more powerful. Because again, he speaks to an audience that may or may not hear me.
Got you.
But they hear him.
Okay, got you.
Because he is one of them.
Got you.
Yes.
Whereas the audience that I speak to, women, they hear me because they can relate to me.
Got you.
So for me, it's like we are complete together. We make the whole.
You work
you
well
know,
together,
we were halves when we were working apart, and now that we're working together, it's the whole. We got it all.
Are you saying it takes the man and the woman?
We got it all.
It takes it.
Yes, it takes us both to make it whole.
Bars right there.
Bars.
Yes,
bars.
It takes it both, and I'm super grateful to have Dr. Barbara with me and us working together. And like I say, we're from here, so what better messengers than hometown people that were born, raised, and live here, that know this landscape. They have been through the things, have been there, came out, and have overcome these things.
Yes.
Really
I always like to say that on a daily basis, formerly incarcerated people here know all day, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, and hear what they cannot do and cannot be.
Yep.
Dr. Barbara and I are examples of what you can do.
Yes. What you can.
Yes, and that's how we like to enter the room, telling you about all the shit that you can do.
Okay,
that's good.
Fuck what they saying you can't do.
Yep.
We gonna concentrate on what you can do.
Exactly.
And what you can do is get your ass out here, register, and vote, and change up what Georgia looks like, because we got the numbers to do that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
There you go.
We do.
2023 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. You are doing it. Once again, like I say, Markel, I can't talk about being Mr. Everything when you got something like this in the room.
I'm saying
I could only brag when people like this ain't around, brother.
Excellent. So when they told you that you had won the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, tell me how that made you feel. Someone coming from where you
ground
came from,
roots of Atlanta.
Yeah, coming from where you came from, for them to suddenly say, "Hey, look,
we got
here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
We're going to give you an award, Pamela, Dr. Pamela. We're going to give you an award straight from the president of the United States." How did that make you feel? Tell me about it.
Like I can retire now.
Okay. Wait, it came with a check. Wait, we doing this wrong. Hey, hello, Upper Room. Hey, how you guys?
I gotta switch it up. You mean to tell me I really gotta switch it up?
You really gotta switch it up. You gotta
tell me I gotta switch it up.
You gotta check. No, but go ahead.
I'm like, when I heard the word lifetime achievement, that means, hey, I can sit at home now.
I done done it. It's lifetime. Right.
But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that my wonder twin, Dr. Barbara, also
received. Yes.
The 23.
Hey, man, they gave us the wrong address. I was supposed to be there that day.
You were supposed to be there that day.
Yeah. And
we pulled up in somebody's house like, we giving the presidential award in Stone Mountain.
I'm not gonna say I heard you not black if Dollar doesn't make it here. So I'm not gonna say nothing about that.
And at that time we weren't even working together yet. We
Y'all
both
knew about each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Isn't it great how the universe conspires for good?
Yeah,
The universe always conspires for good. Always.
That's
fantastic.
what I'm saying. It's like he's doing his thing over here, I'm doing my thing over there, and now we together.
Yes.
Oh, it's over with. It's lights out.
That's it.
It's lights out.
That is fantastic.
We here for our people.
Glad
okay. So
yes.
You saying we here for our people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I circle back, kind of like before we started, I asked, just being that we are the Mayor Review Podcast, and the conversation is we also talk about the issues we have within our own community, men and women.
Yes.
There is a whole social divide of expectations over here, expectations over there.
Right.
And look, I
Not
think
created by us. I want to add that.
Listen. Fabricated.
Let the beat build.
Let the beat build.
Let the beat build.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these expectations have been put in place over the years. It has taken such an ugly turn.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with having desired expectations of a mate.
Mm-hmm.
I want my man to do this, be able to do this, be able to do that. I want my woman to be able to do this, be able to.
Right.
I think at what point should we realize, number one, well, there ain't no perfect man.
Right.
I call them Tyler Perry dudes because Tyler Perry made every black man in that movie look like he perfect. Okay. I love you and I love God. Let me take my shirt off while I'm telling you this and my permed hair. And,
you know, Daddy's Little Girl was on TV.
Well, that's another conversation.
Bishop Eddie Long was in that movie. I'm just go ahead.
Yeah, that's another conversation because then we got to get into entertainment versus real life.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Real life. If you want it, because the whole words that we usually get is the men of the past and the granddaddies and the fathers used to be. Well, they weren't perfect.
No,
at all.
Absolutely were not.
That stuff just went put on Front Street.
Right, and no, there was no social media.
That too, and then the respect level was at a different thing, and then they had different ways of gauging what manhood was then, because back in those days, because in that time it was you were based on your manhood about how many families you could take care of. And so it was okay if you had several women as long as all the households were covered and taken care of.
Right. Now the words is you can't even take care of the household you got.
Well, you know, it changed with the economic outlook.
Yeah.
Well, you go.
When you could, I mean, I was looking at somebody posted online the other day what it used to cost to have a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. And I think the mortgage was something like $89 a month. The house was like maybe $70,000 or something to that effect. This was back in the 50s, though.
Right.
When you could afford something like
I think we still could, though. But this is my thinking.
Inflation.
No.
Oh,
no. I think we got to a point where people don't understand you can't live outside of your means.
Yeah. I also think they started.
So it could be manageable if you realize, hey, we both might have to catch the bus right now.
Well, I want to add something to that. If we are educated properly on finance, we can have the means to have whatever we want.
That's what I'm
saying. So what we have to understand is the others are taught as kids. They come out the womb with whole life insurance policies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Investment,
stocks and bonds, all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So by the time they get 18 and we be looking at them getting this big new car or a new house or their college is paid up for the whole 4 years, what they not telling us is that this stuff was done when they got here.
Yes.
Because their whole life insurance, by the time they turn 18, that thing is matured.
Yep.
It's worth whatever. You can borrow against it. You can do whatever you need to do with it.
Yep.
So they're not coming out their pocket. We're the only ones that think that we got to come out our pocket for everything that we do. And that's why our pockets stay empty. Yeah. So we got to be educated properly first.
Right.
They sold us that dream of a college fund. We call that the not right now fund, meaning, we can't go to college right now because I got this bill to pay and I got that bill to pay and I got this bill to pay. But yeah, you are correct. And I've talked to people about that. And we will definitely circle back when we talk about the educational system. We were talking about that before we even opened the day about the education system. Now, one of the things I'll say, and you are correct, I really wish that they did teach things like how the stock market works.
Right.
How mortgages work, how all of that stuff works that we should have learned in school. When I was in school, when we came out of 8th grade, stuff like the citizenship test where they taught you how to write a check and all that good stuff. They don't do that. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
You can't explain to a kid what a check is because they don't know what you're talking about.
But aside from there, what we definitely got to do is start relying on them to teach us because they only going to teach us what they want us to know.
This is true.
We're going to have to start teaching ourselves, tell the stories ourselves, not only about those things, but also about how we got here and how we got to the point that we're at.
Right.
And make them understand the parallels of when they brought us here and what's going on with us now.
That sounds like CRT.
A lot of us don't even understand what our folks went through. And it's still well and alive today.
Right.
And one thing I want to think about off the top of my head is the Willie Lynch letter. Ooh. It don't matter if it's real, fake, or what it is. The contents in it is real as hell.
The contents sound like
and
the
they
truth.
Still exist today. And I feel like every Black person needs to read that letter so they understand where a lot of this shit come from.
Right. I got a video I want to go ahead and circle around to. Since we're going ahead and talk about education right now, this video is perfect timing.
Yep.
Would you put a kid in a room behind a desk when the sun is out for their whole entire childhood? Not put them in front of water or ocean or anything that inspires them. Dim lights. If you notice, schools, jails, and hospitals all look exactly the same. Why wouldn't it be in something inspiring? Why? Because it's a program to keep us controlled. When you have to have order of masses, you have to have them all doing the same thing so you can know what they're doing, you can monetize what they're doing, you know how they're doing it. So at a very early age, I was like, yo, all this shit y'all teaching me, first of all, none of it makes me think I'm number one. It would make me, if I believe that y'all are teaching me, especially back then, that I'm number two, that I could never be a boss, that there could never be a black president. They never teach us how to pass laws and lobby or be politicians, and that's the only way to make change. So it has to be strategic. So when a cycle continues over and over again without change, it's either insanity or it's intentional. Somebody's losing, which is us, but somebody's winning, which is them. And they're controlling the game. So now we have to make our own game, which behooves us. But the patterns that are implemented, like you said, the DNA of who you are starts when you're a child. What happens as soon as you're 4 or 5 years old? Until you get taught, how would you put a kid in a room behind a desk when the sun is out for their whole entire childhood? Not put them in front of water or ocean or anything that inspires them. Dim lights. If you notice, schools, jails.
Hey, it's Pastor Sean with Healing Haven of Atlanta, where we specialize in the healing and development of our young men and our young dads 18 and up. We are a community resource center. We specialize in the healing and development. Young men, young dads, we help you get on your feet. We help you get your job. We help you with leadership development. You have suspended license because of child support. We have fatherhood classes that can help you guys get on your feet, get your license back, whether it is court ordered or voluntarily. Plus, we have wraparound services that are right here in this community to help us with job training and job placement. Y'all can reach us at healinghaven, the number 8 at gmail.com, or reach us on the web at healinghavenatl.org. Come through, come holler at us, let us be of service to you. Peace.
Hey, this is your boy Mark L., one of the members of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for the Male Review right here on Yale Radiocast. Ladies, are you looking for something special to do for your man? Something to make him feel special, something to show him that you love and appreciate him? You should send him to For Men's Only, right there located in Sandy Springs. This is a men's only salon where he will be pampered. They have barbering services. They also do manicures and pedicures. Also, you can go and visit their website at www.fmogrooming.com if you want to get a look and see the services that they offer. And give them the hashtag The Leg. They will give you a discount off of your services for that day. So ladies, send him to For Men Only. We look forward to seeing you. And as always, the motto is, get the business. Okay, we are back. Thank you for turning back in with the Male Review right here on Yale Radiocast. Your boy Mark L in the building, along with Dr. Dylan Yale. We're going to call him Dr. Dylan Yale.
I'm a different doctor.
He's a different kind of doctor. Okay.
Evil, baby.
Dr. Evil.
Dr.
Okay.
Evil.
Mr. Yale. Mr. Some of the things today.
Mr. Some stuff. Some stuff.
Mr. This and that.
Not Mr. Everything. Mr. Some stuff.
And of course, the wonderful Dr. Winn. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for joining us again on this wonderful Saturday. And we just got through watching that clip. You guys got a chance to take a look at that clip by Dame Dash, who used to be CEO of Rockefeller Records, talking about the educational system and how it is causing a lot of strife in the community, and about the way it's set up right now. About how it seems like they're just taking the same model and concept, and they're applying it in multiple environments, which kind of leads to the whole concept. We talk about the classroom to prison pipeline. We talk about that a lot. We've talked about that in the past. But he makes a lot of sense in that clip when he says, hey, you take this child when they're about 4 or 5 years old, and you institutionalize this child.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. That sounds, sounds bad. Sounds bad on the palate. Sounds hard to say. Sounds hard to hear for most people to think of a child 5 years old being institutionalized. But it really is about the fact that words mean things.
Right.
You taking them to an institution to educate them, right? But it's institutionalizing the child. You're going to take the child. You're going to sit them in a classroom behind a desk for 5-6 hours a day.
5-6 hours a day. Yes.
In dim lighting. Sometimes there's a window where you can see outside and sometimes not. You're teaching them to do stuff repetitively, but it just moves from that into high school where you do the same thing. Also, you move to college, higher education. It gives you a little idea of freedom because, of course, they're trying to prepare you for the next institution,
Of life.
which is going to be life and work. And if none of that works for you as a youth, as you come through that system, then they lead you off to another institution, right? You end up doing things that will lead you to another institutionalized experience because the whole point is to institutionalize you from the beginning.
Right. Right. I had a different stance on what Dame was saying.
Yeah.
And once again, we got to bring clarity and understanding because this day and age, people aren't really smart to words.
Yeah.
They take words and then they put feelings right there with whatever word they hear and however it's delivered. Okay, so we do need education.
Absolutely.
We do.
That's true.
Because some people were, so what are you saying? Don't take your kids to school. He sounds stupid. Hey, he got his education. That's how he became CEO. He had to go to,
Not what we're saying.
I'm just saying that's how people gonna read, hear what he was saying. What he was saying is, from what I got from it, is it's the environment. You got to understand the environment of not necessarily school. Look, there's some kids that go to the best environments of school and they shoot up those schools.
Yeah.
Okay. But yet and still, it's the atmosphere. And I think it's the atmosphere of your upbringing. Okay. If you come on, man, it's hard to come from the hood and maybe the backgrounds that we come from and then go to school, no matter what that environment is, and focus. Okay, how can you focus if you dealing with gunshots every night and you think I'm gonna go to school the next day and sit and pay attention to Miss White Lady tell me about how to write in cursive?
It's hard.
I've been trying to run in cursive from these bullets.
They stopped teaching it. They're trying to.
Oh yeah,
they're trying to bring.
Well, I mean, because ain't nobody been able to catch up because the world that have been created today, the least thing that we've been focused on is how to spell in cursive.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? True. They also another goal to simplify our minds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Not elevated to another level, another talent. You know what I'm saying? So it's let's not make it too hard for them. Let's dumb them down as much as possible. I remember used to just go in the books and study how to write hieroglyphics and things of that nature because of writing in cursive. They want everything to be, easy and dumbed down. But back to what I was saying is it's just basically about where you come from and where your mindset is when you get to school. And it doesn't help. Yes, it is institutionalized, but the better atmosphere that you have overall will help you focus better. I know some parents who have taught their kid from day one. Well, not day one, because you changing diapers on day one. But somewhere down the line, you already trying to teach. Yeah, you're trying to teach them their ABCs early on to prepare them by the time that they get to that institution, what to focus on. And I think it's a focus value thing. Doctor, I'm gonna yield myself to the doctor right here, though.
So I hear both of you, and I agree with both of you. So as far as the institution go, let's be clear. We've been institutionalized since they took us off the boat.
Ain't it? Truth.
Which so that ain't never stopped.
Which why we already have the harder time focusing on that because what we have to deal with, we talked about it earlier, they're already teaching their kids stocks and bonds at 7 years old.
Right.
And beyond that, let's look at what they're doing with schools now. They're creating charter schools and closing down public schools. Mm-hmm. The public schools are located where?
In the poor communities.
In the marginalized communities. Mm-hmm. And that's why they started cracking down on you going to school in your district and not out of your district.
Right.
Because these charter schools are not being built in your district.
Correct.
And when we say we don't have enough kids for that school now, we close that school down.
Right.
So now what are those kids supposed to do? They don't live in a district where the charter school, their charter school, and their public school has been closed. So they're not trying to educate us anyway.
Right.
So let's be clear about that. So for me, at the end of the day, what he's saying, it really doesn't even matter because they're not trying to give us no education. Every day we see on the news that they don't want to teach us Black history. They don't want to teach us
CRT.
This. They taking this out of the schools. They taking that out of the schools. I remember going to the school bitching and complaining because one of my sons could write his name in cursive, the other could not. They're 2 years apart. And they told me that they no longer taught that, nor did they teach spelling anymore because they can get on the, yes.
What do you mean they don't teach spelling?
I had one son that had spelling tests every week. The other one had none. And that's the same one that didn't know how to write in cursive. They told me that they didn't teach cursive or spelling anymore because now that computers have been introduced into the schools, they can use spell check. And as far as cursive goes, they could always just type their papers on the computer and print it out on the computer, so they didn't even have to write anymore.
Right.
So that's where we're going with education. So the more important thing about education is there is about not to be none.
That's insane.
I mean, that's
You're
where
not
we are.
teaching spelling.
So where they teaching it at is irrelevant because they ain't trying to teach it at all.
I keep on telling you, the Matrix. They just want to plug us in.
They're trying to teach it
and let us go
and feed off of whatever we can, the benefit. I'm telling y'all, man, y'all better pay attention to what's going on out here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But which circles kind of around to voting and the people that we got sitting right there in a chair that aligns with whatever our purpose is or whatever our beliefs is.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a different fight, right? Because how do we determine what right is the right? Shout out to my brother T on the stream. He always says, if everybody's right, then who is wrong?
Right. How do you recognize what the right doesn't have any?
But the narrative should be, in my mind, is morals, a moral structure, a moral belief. That's why I'm kind of like with you when you say you don't see red or blue, ma'am.
Who teaches morals, though? It's not a class.
It is that is a created structure as well. That is a construct as well. So I'm aware of that. But you know, I mean, that's another conversation.
Yeah, that is another conversation.
I mean, if you come from a place that's morally bankrupt, how can we expect you to?
And that's what I'm saying. How we, right.
Yeah. Right. So your morals are going to be definitely different from the ones I have.
Right.
What do you mean I can't shoot this dude in the face?
Right.
What do you mean I can't shoot this dude in the face? We military.
I mean, but I'm saying, you know, but if I come from a place of more bankrupt.
Crazy thing is, I remember when in basic training and my drill sergeant said, man, you get paid to kill somebody. Isn't that great? And I was like,
why is that great?
Yeah, it is.
But why?
That's not where I come from.
Right.
Paid or not.
Right.
What are you telling me?
What are you saying? Yeah.
So that made me think, this motherfucker crazy.
Is it that or is it just your morals are different?
Right.
Because some of them was like, yeah.
Some of them was like, yeah. That's a problem.
But the key is we have to take the responsibility upon ourselves to make sure that we have what we need. And we have it among us. Because for as many of us that don't know, there are just as many that do know.
Right.
And for those that do know, I feel that we are obligated to make sure that we teach those that don't know.
How do we get them in the room together, though?
That's it. That's the question.
How do we get them in the room together?
Because we're so indoctrinated to look out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And I mean the current temperature or the current temperature of society right now is doing it for ourselves. I know a friend of mine and I were talking about how I remember growing up on the south side of Chicago, and I'm 50 plus years old. And I remember block parties where everybody's family was out there. We all knew each other. We even had families that had beef with each other, but they could usually work it out in a conversation in the neighborhood. But the neighbors knew each other. They knew to look out for each other's kids. They knew to do all these different things. You know, if you got locked out your house, you can go to the neighbor's house and the neighbor could call your mom. That's, because everybody was interconnected like that. That's not the same thing we're doing now.
Right.
We're now, like we said, if I see your child acting up in the street and I say something to your child, you want to take my head off.
Right.
Don't talk to my baby like that. But your baby was about to do something that was going to damage or hurt themselves. Right.
And somebody
gonna come get your baby. Right. I'm just trying to keep that off, but people are away from that.
Right.
So though you say, and I understand, it is within our communities to do it, but how do we get these people to the table? How do we get these folks? We can ask them. We can keep having these seminars that we have. We keep doing things like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen do.
Yes. We got the leg conference coming up soon.
We got a leg conference happening.
Which is based around bringing men into the same room together, because you don't know they're there until somebody is putting that man in front of your face. I told you a goal of ours is saying, hey, we are more than what they say we are. You know, we are that too.
Right.
Yeah, we like to turn up in the clubs and do this and do that and materialistic and, misogynistic and all these things you want to give us. I'll take all those titles.
Also know.
This. I'm here doing this as a man of the community. So that's the purpose of a leg conference, is saying, hey, here's a Travis Barber. Here's a Sean Chin with Healing Haven. Here we are as the Mayor Review, and we're trying to present true Black media of a more positive influence of man. And here we are owning televised portals with RTV and all of this as well, that we are trying to present a certain sound, a certain quality of person to you. That's the reason that we're doing this. But I think it takes constant work. And at the end of the day, I don't think everybody gonna come.
Work.
So the never ending work.
Everybody may not come, but as long as we get the masses, the majority,
we get one
then we're doing good.
Touch another person.
So let's be clear. So we understand that this country is run under all white men.
Yeah.
They call it patriarchy.
Yeah.
But that's what patriarchy means for y'all that don't know. It means all white men. Right stuff. Okay?
Do it.
Now, the biggest threat to an old white man is a Black man.
Yeah.
They don't want y'all here. Their work is to eradicate you all from the face of everything.
Yep.
Which is why they allow Black women to be in these positions that we are now, running things. But they had an oversight. What they didn't understand about Black women, because they thought that they were going to allow us to be in these spaces and they were going to be able to dictate how we move. What they didn't know about Black women is that we ain't that woman.
Yeah, they don't listen. I know
we
that's
ain't
right.
that woman.
They don't listen. They don't listen for shit, y'all. They don't listen for shit. Oh.
Y'all found it out now.
Fuck around
and found out.
What they also forgot was they helped create that.
Yeah.
Because again, back to slavery, when you were taking our men and doing whatever you were doing with them, the women were the ones that held everything down.
Correct.
The women were the ones that held their houses down.
Yes.
They women didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. Raised their kids, cooked their food, did everything for them. So we always been in a position of power. And now that we're more vocal with that power and we're doing bigger things, now they want to shut us down too, which is why the number of women that are incarcerated has grown 800%. Because it was like, oh shit, we fucked up and, let these women in. But now they ain't doing what we want them to do. They doing what the hell they want to do because that's what we do, what we want to do. And now we're becoming a problem. So,
I'm so glad she admitted that we.
However, though, we understand. I think most of us understand what the mission is. And I know for myself personally, my goal is to uplift and put our Black men where they should be, because I feel like that is a big basis of a lot of the problems that we have in our Black community now. For so long, we have watched from those times up to now, our men get emasculated, get cut off. As far as men not being there for their kids, that's what they use men for, to breed. They never knew their kids. All they were supposed to do was make them. They weren't supposed to take care of them. They weren't supposed to have a relationship. They weren't supposed to nurture them. When the women had them, they were gone. They never even knew who they were. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of us around here that are probably fucking related from all of that they did then. Yeah. If we really want to be honest about, what we dealing with. And
thankfully, we are coming into newer times where we are more responsible, and we do want to know who these children are. We do want to know who we're related to. That's good.
So we have to understand where it came from, though, so we can understand what we need to do to start repairing it, to start fixing that. Instead of chastising it and ostracizing it and doing all the negativity toward it, we need to take note of, that's what, that's how they designed it. Okay, we understand that, and work on bringing positivity and correction to it. Instead of just, keep negativity and beating it down.
That's the discussion.
Because that's not helping. That's not helping. Let them know what the real is so they understand where all this stuff is coming from. Because it's all rooted in the same place.
It is. Yeah, you are correct.
We got any I want some questions on the stream, everybody. Y'all here. Shout out to the people on the stream tuning in. Thank y'all. Subscribe, like, share out the stream. We got, once again, the outstanding Dr. Pamela Winn is in here. What you got coming up next, sister?
Tomorrow I'll be at Spelman. I have a short film documentary that's entitled Winn, My Last Name. Okay. It's won the PBS Short Film Festival.
All right.
Okay. It's gonna be premiering screening tomorrow at Spelman. At Spelman College, I'm gonna be in DC doing some work around a curriculum that I wrote. I'm a 2019 Soros Justice Fellow. For those who don't know what that is, the Hungarian billionaire, George Soros.
George Soros, okay.
Mm-hmm. He takes millions of his money every year and he gives them to projects that are social justice projects created to uplift in our communities and marginalized people. And it's a competitive fellowship. You come up with a project, and if you're chosen, you win. It comes with a check to do that project. And my project was a curriculum for women that were returning to the community, comprehensive wellness, rehabilitation, and restoration of rights curriculum. And I created it because when I first started working, I would speak about what I was doing and where I was in the space. The first question I would get was, how did I get from there to here? Mm-hmm. So I created a curriculum that showed the steps that I made.
Excellent. That's good.
To get here. And so that curriculum has been recognized by a national organization called Community Change. They have a similar fellowship that I was part of. And now they're going to be, I guess, gifting that fellowship to my organization. We're going to take it over on a national level.
Okay.
So we got that coming up. We have new legislation called the Women's Care Act. And what the Women's Care Act, whereas the Dignity Bill banned the shackling and solitary confinement of incarcerated women, the Women's Care Act actually takes the women out of prison. It ends prison birth. So if you are pregnant and you're convicted and sentenced to serve time, you won't serve that sentence until a minimum of 12 weeks after you have your baby.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's important because in Georgia, you have 24 hours to say where your baby going, and then the state take it over. Some more slavery shit where they take your babies and do what they want to do with them.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we men, these are the things that we're ignorant. That's the thing that we're ignorant to. Like,
things that y'all should know
you just
about,
said
exactly
education. That's what it comes back to.
I was excited to come here today because when I seen the mail review, I'm like, cool.
Oh, you thought we were gonna be up in here? Oh
no, she did not. I hope not.
No, I did not.
You don't want to see him take nothing.
You really don't. No,
I promise you.
They pay me to put my clothes on.
I'm always excited when I get to speak to our men to make them understand that although what we see in the media is that Black women are all together and they running the country and they doing this, there are still populations of our Black women that are not in that position where we're being taken advantage of and, just being treated really badly, and that's one of those areas. They're taking our kids.
Right.
They're taking them. So yeah, they don't want abortions. They want ours.
I hear that.
You know what
I
I'm
hear
saying?
that,
So
yes.
yeah. And so that's why this bill is important. Also, along with the fact that the prisons can't adequately and safely take care of a pregnant woman or a baby in their
Correct.
needs.
They don't.
So
They
that's
don't
what
have
this
time.
bill does. So we have been successful this year in passing the bill in Colorado. So we have ended prison birth in Colorado. So this session coming up, we're going to be working with Healthy Mother, Healthy Babies. And this is going to be our priority in legislation this session to get that passed here in Georgia.
Outstanding. Let me ask one more question.
Sure.
What do you need from the brothers? What do you need from the men?
The first thing I need from the brothers is, although you feel like the women may be combative, understand it's just that they may not be educated on how we got to this space. So just continue to be supportive and understanding and compassionate of what's going on. The second thing I need from the men, and very important, is for the men to support themselves by showing up when it comes to voting. So let me go back and say this about voting. I need for folks to understand, especially formerly incarcerated people, that the people that lock you away and lock your loved ones away for life, they don't fill out an application and interview for a job. They are voted in. Every judge is voted in. Every sheriff is voted in.
Yes.
Every prosecutor is voted in.
Yeah.
So the people that make these decisions to throw us away, we vote them in, which is why it's important for formerly incarcerated people to register and to vote, because you have control over those people. You can say yes or no to them. And again, based on what their agenda is for us as a people. So that's important to know. Your schools where your kids go, the people that run those schools, the superintendents, they are voted in. They do not fill out an application. So what happens with your kids at school? You have control over that. Local elections are what most affect you, because those are the people that run the city and the county where you live. Those people are voted in. Every law, when we go out the door, that we have to abide by is voted on by legislators who are voted in every 2 years. So the point that I'm trying to make to you right now, I'm trying to make you understand just how important voting is and why they're happy when your ass don't show up at the poll, because that gives them the power to do whatever the hell they want to do with us. When you have the power to control what happens with us. So when you say your vote doesn't count, it counts very much. Because if it didn't, they wouldn't work so hard to keep you from voting.
There you go.
That is true.
And again, I have given you an example of a lot of things, how voting affects your life on a daily basis. Every 2 years, every legislature under that gold dome is voted in. This year coming up, 24, is their last year. And they have to get re-voted in, re-elected, re-voted back in. If you don't like what the hell they doing,
Get them out of there.
Get them out of there.
we have the power to register and vote and get their ass out of there and get somebody in there that's for us. And that's what we need to understand as a people. Don't look at it as just you. And even as just you, in our local elections that just happened on November 7th, someone on the school district won by 12 votes. If you want an example of how much your vote counts, 12 votes. So it's imperative. We have power. We're just not tapping into it. We got to tap into what we got, and then we can get what we want. And let's take an opportunity to put ourselves on the offensive and let these other folks be around here on the defensive, worry about what the hell we doing and what we got going on.
True.
And what they going to do with us. Because when they came up with the bright idea of mass incarceration and they said, let's lock all these motherfuckers up, what they didn't do is look ahead down the road and come to today where it's more of us than there are of them.
I learned that from two.
And so, like I keep telling them, you don't have to worry about trying to get them to stop locking up people. They're going to stop on their own. Because when they look at them numbers, especially when y'all go out there and register and y'all start voting, and they got to come to y'all, the same people that they locked up, to get y'all approval to get in the seat, because we are the majority, and it's going to be what we say, and they need all our approval to get in that seat. They're going to stop locking people up because they don't want to have to come to you, because you were the people that they tried to throw away. Correct. They don't want to have to bow down to you. Correct. But that's what we are right now. That's the position we in. If we take care and handle our business, they're going to have to bow down to us, and they're going to have to get our permission to get in these seats. And everything that we fight about on a daily basis and beg for, like housing, employment, and school, education, we're going to be able to say exactly what we want, and they're going to give it to us, because they're going to know their ass is going to be out if they don't. Correct. And that's what I need my people to get and understand, if nothing else. You have the power. Stop letting folks tell you who you are, what you need, and what you can do. Start telling they asses who you are, what the fuck you can do, and what they gonna do for you. Right. Yes, and ma'am. If they don't, their asses is gone. Okay. That's what we need. Fantastic.
I appreciate you, ma'am. Once again, I just want to say, before we close out, as far as the voting thing, don't let nobody sway your vote.
Right.
Stand firm in your convictions of whatever you feel is right, whoever aligns with whatever your belief is. And I'm saying this from somebody who didn't care to vote. I could speak on my ignorance at one time, like,
I didn't either.
Them folks gonna do what they gonna do.
I was that person too.
And I was, looking at the bigger level up there and not realizing, well, it starts down here. Starts where we at in the community. You know what I'm saying? And that works its way up the chain. But that happens over time. So don't ever let nobody make you feel. Look here, you ain't gonna tell me just because I'm not black if I don't vote for you.
Breathe.
I almost
breathe.
Here's
the deal. Continue with your show, sir. Here's the deal.
I was there until he said that. Dude, you ain't had to say that. Okay. Anyway, I really back in. But once again, Miss Pamela Winn, thank you for joining us on the Mail Review. Tell everybody where to reach you at, though. Okay, and how do we support you personally?
Well, it's never me personally. It's going to always be us. But you can reach me. My social media is at restoreher.usa. For Impact, it's at Impact with 2 P's, IMPPACT. And that impact means informing marginalized people's power and cultivating transformation, because that's what we seek to do. Right. Give the power to the people and transform this shit, because that's what it needs. So again, that's at Impact with 2 P's, IMPPACT.us. It's the same on Facebook, and on Twitter, it's the same with the underscore instead of a dot. That's how you can reach us. Our website is the same as well. Impact.us, restoreher.us.
Outstanding. I just want to say thank you for not letting those circumstances kind of like get to you.
Yes.
I think the problem that we have is some of the things we see ourselves can't get past us. We let a small moment in our long ass lives determine where we're going to go.
Correct.
Instead of just staying focused, saying, you know what, let me show you something.
Right.
Let me show you who I actually am. Because if y'all was to see any of our past, there's going to be some bumpy moments. There's going to be some ugly shit that we might have been doing this at this moment. Well, please notice where I am right now, though.
Correct.
So thank you for being a type of woman that allows people to see who you are right now, and continuously making strides to show everybody, who we should be as a people who are together, man.
Thank you. I want to be an example to those people of what you can do. Like I say, I'm an example of can, not cannot.
There you go. Mark L, man, brother, what you got for closing?
I've just got to say, again, I want to say thank you definitely for joining us today, Dr. Winn. We do appreciate everything that you've done. We definitely appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us today and let us know the things that you are doing and what you have done thus far in your journey. And we look forward to watching you continue. we're just very grateful to have you, and we're definitely here, definitely as the Mail Review, definitely as your radio cast, and definitely as the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We're definitely here to support you, and we'll do what we can to help your endeavors. Absolutely,
I appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing y'all can do. We need to come back, and I need to have my other half with me.
Okay.
Because I want to have a conversation about what's the reason that Black men don't want to vote. And I want to have it on the air, and we're going to answer it, and we're going to get it.
We coming up on an election year,
yes,
so
that's
a good show.
Yeah.
Because we're going to need it, because you've been seeing the polls. They look crazy
right now. We missing y'all.
The polls look crazy right now.
We need to know what y'all
they
need
look real
so we can
low.
make sure y'all get it so y'all can get out there.
Yeah, I will say, I think it has something to do with, once again, you say it's an education thing, and it's as soldiers, we have a suck it up and drive on mentality that I can't depend on somebody else to fix my household. I still kind of believe in that. I do understand that rules have to be put in place for a community-based structure, but me, I still say, hey, I still got to manage my household.
You know what I say to that?
Yes, ma'am. Doctor?
Okay, you still got to manage your household.
I'm just answering for the dudes when we go into this show.
Dudes, but if you don't take your ass out and vote,
you ain't going to have no.
They're going to take your house.
Yeah, they're going to take your house, and they're going to tell you what you're going to be doing in your household.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to manage your household because, again, these are the people that put the laws in place.
Mm-hmm.
You might have put them in within your household, but if you ain't got nothing outside your household to put in place,
there you go.
Then it don't matter.
There you go.
So that's what you're voting for.
Because they show checking your credit before you get a job now.
Trust that.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Insurance as well.
Who did that?
Insurance as well. That's why your insurance be high as hell because they looking at your credit score.
Yes. So I get.
Then that's another thing. Folks don't understand credit. They just know that somebody said you got to have a 700. What is a 700? Why is it 700? They don't know none of that. Mm-hmm. How do you get to 700? So these are, again, everything is rooted in education.
Man, y'all give it up for the doctor in the house.
Thank you for joining us, man. Mark, what's up, man?
Hey man, well, I wanted to say a little something about the reason.
Go ahead. Yeah, we do got. Oh yeah, to on the street, like y'all did talk about the reason for the season.
We'll get beat up.
Shout out to the business party. Shout out to the brother TR2 on Roberts. We are circling back once again with our second annual Reason for the Season holiday campaign. It will be December the 9th and December the 10th. We will be hosting this at, shout out to my brother Sean Chan. Once again, leg is strong.
Yes, sir.
Hill and Haven has allowed us to host this event at their location, which is based, it's right up the street from us, right down the street, right here in Riverdale, Sean. Let me pull up the address because I don't want him saying, "Nah, brother, you gave us the wrong address."
Florida,
I know,
man,
Sean.
you can't be saying shouty like that.
I'm working on my ATL vernacular. Maybe I need a flute to help me out. Anyways, 6469 Highway 85 Riverdale Road is the location for Hill and Haven of Atlanta, Inc. Once again, the thing is, our purpose is to support those who may be less fortunate for the holiday season. So if you are interested and willing in donating to this cause, send the cash to the Cash App at Your Radio Cast. Y'all know the station. Y'all know the network, Your Radio Cast. Tap that Cash App, $5, $15, $8, $800, whatever you have. Believe me, it doesn't go to us. It goes to some people who you may make their Christmas.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you for those who supported us last year. Shout out to my boy Lightworker Wayne. Shout out to Nemesis. Spicy Women in the Mic pulled up, man. It was just over 2 days. Last year, what we did was we had over 60 toys that was donated to us with over 20 gift cards. So coming out the gate, I think that is a outstanding coming out the gate. The goal here is to make it better, make it bigger. So we're going to have music and food and stuff this time around. We're really going to accent the holidays.
Right on.
So to y'all, see how like I did that, bro.
See how you got that in there? Yep, right on, y'all. So other than that, y'all, I'm gonna just say thank you so much for tuning in with us today on Yale Radiocast flagship show, the Mail Review, with your boy Mark L in the building, your boy Dylan Yale in the building, and the lovely Dr. Winn, who came in to bless us with all of the goodness that she brought today in our system. So just know that we care about you out there. We're glad that you guys are listening. We thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing. And come on out for the reason for the season. Come on out and help us
December 9th, December 10th.
December 9th.
11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That's right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get these toys and these gifts out to these people that are less fortunate. Other than that, my brother, all I got to say is signing off for a Saturday. Thank y'all for joining in and tuning in with us once again with the Mail Review and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Other than that, my brother, all I can say is
let's hit him with a motto.
You know the motto. Get the business.
I'll let y'all.
We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in.
This is grown man business. The collar swag on hit a witness. I pull up in a Bentley so quick. I'm dropping them